Maybe somebody has to do a protest vote or something to get it out of their system, but they better get it out of their system, he said. Trump can do a lot with executive orders, but the whole point of this is, we need to legislate. With all the drama and speculation, it was easy to forget that until the last Congress, the election of a speaker was little more than a formality, but as the vote began to unfold on Friday, it looked like House Republicans were set to repeat their performance of 2 years ago, when it took Representative Kevin McCarthy 15 votes in for days to secure the gavel in a once-in-a-century embarrassment of a floor fight. Representative Thomas Massie, Republican of Kentucky, cast a protest vote for Representative Tom Emmer of Minnesota, the GOP whip, and then Representative Ralph Norman of South Carolina called out Jim Jordan, making it seem as if Mr. Johnson would lose on the first round. Soon, Representative Keith Self of Texas would join them in naming someone else. Milling ensued. So did whipping phone calls from Mr. Trump, who was reached on his golf course in Florida to twist the arms of some of the holdouts. Typically disruptive members of Congress suddenly stepped up to try and help close the deal. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia, who last year tried to oust Mr. Johnson, had come around and was photographed talking on the phone to Susie Wiles, the incoming White House Chief of Staff. Representative Nancy Mace of South Carolina, one of the 8 Republicans who voted to oust Mr. McCarthy last year, pulled the holdouts into a private room so they could talk on speakerphone with Mr. Trump. After delivering some level of humiliation to Mr. Johnson, Mr. Self and Mr. Norman ultimately flipped and allowed him to win the gavel in the first round of votes. Just as Mr. Gaetz had predicted, some Republicans tried to look on the bright side. He did in one ballot what it took us 15 to do last time, said Representative Tom Cole, the veteran Republican from Oklahoma. I think that is a very good sign. But that is the beginning of the story, not the end. Members of the hard-right House Freedom Caucus registered in a letter their sincere reservations regarding the Speaker's track record over the past 15 months. Representative Chip Roy initially refused to back Mr. Johnson, but ultimately fell in line. Credit. Yun Jong for the New York Times. Trump was more upbeat. Mike will be a great speaker, he wrote on social media, and our country will be the beneficiary. Annie Carney is a congressional correspondent for the Times. She writes features and profiles, with a recent focus on House Republican leadership.